It takes 10 years to build an empire. It takes 10 seconds to burn it to the ground. Right now, you are comfortable. You look at the charts, you see the ETFs, you see the institutional money pouring in. You feel safe. You think Bitcoin has finally won. But history has a cruel sense of humor. Nassim Taleb defined a black swan as an unpredictable event that has extreme consequences. It's the thing you never see coming until it hits you in the face. In 2014, it was Mt. Gox. In 2018, it was the ICO burst. In 2022, it was FTX and Luna. And in 2026, the data isn't pointing to a bull run. It's pointing to a convergence, a perfect storm of economics, technology, and geopolitics that threatens to not just crash the price, but to delete the network. Everyone is asking if Bitcoin will hit $150,000. I'm here to ask the question nobody wants to answer. What happens if it hits zero? We have been trained like Pavlov's dogs. Every 4 years, halving, supply shock, number go up. It's clockwork. It's the religion of crypto. Institutional adoption is here. BlackRock is here. The volatility is gone. Bitcoin is now a mature asset class like gold. A mature asset class, or a sitting duck. The problem with the 4-year cycle is that we have a sample size of 3. 3 cycles. In the grand scheme of financial history, that is not a pattern. That is a coincidence. Bitcoin has never existed in a world without cheap money. It was born in 2009, right after the printer started going brrr. It grew up during the greatest bull run in stock market history. Bitcoin has never survived a true global depression. Until, maybe, 2026. We have identified 3 catastrophic scenarios, 3 black swans circling above us right now. Any one of them could trigger a crypto ice age. If all 3 happen at once, we go back to the Stone Age. Let's start with the one that is already knocking on the door. $34 trillion. And counting. The United States is adding $1 trillion to its debt every 100 days. This is exponential. This is a mathematical impossibility. Many Bitcoiners cheer for this. They say, when the dollar collapses, Bitcoin flies. That is the single biggest lie in this industry. If the US dollar collapses, it doesn't happen quietly. It happens violently. In a liquidity crisis, cash is not trash. Cash is king. When the margin calls come, when the banks stop lending, hedge funds don't sell what they want to sell. They sell what they can sell. And what is the most liquid asset in the world right now that trades 24/7? Bitcoin. In March 2020, when fear hit the market, gold dropped 12%. The S&P 500 dropped 30%. Bitcoin crashed 50% in a single day. Now, imagine a crisis 10 times worse than COVID. Imagine a sovereign debt crisis where the U.S. Treasury bond, the bedrock of the global financial system, stops being risk-free. This brings us to the elephant in the room. The ticking time bomb that everyone ignores because it's too scary to look at. Tether. Tether is the lifeblood of the crypto market. Over 70% of Bitcoin trading volume is traded against USDT, not USD. Tether claims to be backed by U.S. Treasury bills. But what happens if the U.S. banking system freezes? Or what if regulators decide to seize those assets? Scenario 2026. The U.S. enters a deep recession. The Fed is forced to keep rates high to fight stagflation. A major bank fails, bigger than Silicon Valley Bank. Liquidity dries up. People try to cash out their USDT for real dollars. Tether breaks the peg. 99 cents, 95 cents, 80 cents. If Tether collapses, it's not just a dip. It's an extinction event. Billions of dollars of buying power vanish instantly. The algorithms that keep the market moving stop working. We aren't talking about $15,000 Bitcoin. We are talking about liquidity vacuums where price discovery stops completely. You have to understand, in 2026, the debt refinancing wall hits. Trillions in corporate debt needs to be rolled over at higher rates. Companies will liquidate their treasuries. Sailor, Tesla, they might be forced sellers. Forced selling. That is the phrase that kills bull markets. When MicroStrategy gets margin called, who is left to buy? But economic collapse is just money. Money can be printed. Markets can recover. What I'm about to show you next is different. It's not about the price of Bitcoin. It's about the existence of Bitcoin. In 2026, a technology is coming online that makes the blockchain look like an abacus. They say encryption is unbreakable. They are wrong. If the economy collapses, we can print more money. If the government bans Bitcoin, we can go underground. But what happens if the math itself breaks? Cryptography is the immune system of the digital world. It protects your bank account, your emails, your nuclear codes, and yes, your Bitcoin. For 15 years, we have trusted SHA-256. We believe it is invincible. We tell ourselves, it would take all the supercomputers on Earth 1 billion years to hack a Bitcoin private key. That was true in the world of classical physics. But we are no longer living in that world. We are entering the quantum era. And in the quantum world, 1 billion years can become seconds. To understand why Bitcoin might die in 2026, you don't need a PhD in physics. You just need to understand the difference between a library and a god. Think of a Bitcoin private key as a password hidden in a massive library. A normal computer, even a supercomputer, is like a librarian running down the aisles, checking one book at a time. It takes forever. A quantum computer doesn't run down the aisles. It exists in every aisle at the same time. It doesn't search for the answer. It collapses the universe into a state where the answer is the only possibility left. This isn't sci-fi anymore. In 2019, Google achieved quantum supremacy. Their Sycamore processor did a calculation in 200 seconds that would have taken the world's fastest supercomputer 10,000 years. That was 2019. Tech evolves exponentially. Moore's law says computing power doubles every 18 months. Quantum computing is growing at a double exponential rate. IBM has mapped out a roadmap. By 2025, they aim for 4,000 qubits. By 2026, we enter the danger zone. The weapon that kills Bitcoin has a name: Shor's algorithm. The moment a quantum computer is powerful enough to run Shor's algorithm stably, every crypto wallet from 2009 to 2012 is wide open, including the most dangerous wallet of all. Let's play out the scenario. It's a Tuesday morning in 2026. The block height is $950,000. Suddenly, a transaction appears in a mempool. At first, nobody notices. Just another whale moving funds. But then, a bot on Twitter, X, flags it. Alert, 50 BTC moved from the Genesis block, Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet, the wallet that hasn't moved in 17 years. Then another transaction. Then another. 1 million Bitcoin, worth hundreds of billions of dollars, suddenly starts moving to an unknown address. Panic. Is Satoshi back? Did he sell? No. It's worse. Within minutes, older wallets, zombie wallets from 2010, start being drained without the private keys. This is the moment the world realizes the cryptography is broken. It's not a hack of an exchange, it's a hack of the math. If someone can derive your private key from your public key, ownership means nothing. Confidence evaporates instantly. Who would buy a digital asset that anyone can steal? the price goes to zero. Not because of supply and demand, but because the ledger itself is no longer trusted. We warned them. We said upgrade to post-quantum cryptography, PQC, but consensus was too slow. The network couldn't agree on a soft fork in time, and the quantum attackers, they didn't wait for permission. You might be thinking, I'll worry about this in 2026. I have time. Wrong. You don't have time. Because of a strategy called SNDL, store now, decrypt later. Intelligence agencies around the world are already recording encrypted traffic. They are harvesting everything. Your emails, your secrets, and yes, your broadcasted Bitcoin transactions. They can't read them today, but they are storing them on massive server farms in Utah and Guizhou. Waiting. The moment the quantum computer comes online in 2026, they don't need to hack you then. They unlock the vault they stole today. If your public key has ever been revealed, and if you've ever made a transaction, it has. You are already on the list. The race isn't just about price. It's a race between the upgrade to quantum resistance and the arrival of the quantum destroyer. Right now, the destroyer is winning. But even if the math survives, there is one enemy Bitcoin cannot code its way out of. The Men with Guns, April 5th, 1933. The United States was in the middle of the Great Depression. The dollar was collapsing against gold. People were hoarding gold to survive. So, the government did the unthinkable. They didn't ask politely. They made it a crime. Executive Order 6102 forced every American to turn in their gold to the Federal Reserve. If you refused, 10 years in prison. They seized the wealth of the people to save the wealth of the state. Bitcoiners love to say, Bitcoin is unconfiscatable. It's in my head. They can't take it. Technically, you are right. They cannot guess your 12 words, but they don't need to take your Bitcoin to kill it. They just need to make it useless. Scenario 2026, the Order 6102 of the 21st century. It won't be a door-to-door raid. It will be a digital blockade. They won't ban the code. They will ban the exits. It's already starting. They call it Operation Choke Point 2.0. Regulators are quietly pressuring banks to cut off all ties with crypto companies. In 2026, imagine this goes global. A coordinated G7 ban. If you cannot convert your Bitcoin back to fiat to pay your taxes, if you cannot buy food with it, if every merchant who accepts it is fined, Bitcoin becomes a digital collectible, a contraband item, like ivory or blood diamonds. Liquidity vanishes, the ETFs delist, the miners who need dollars to pay for electricity go bankrupt or are nationalized. The network survives, yes, but the price collapses because the utility is gone. Why would they do this? Are they afraid of money laundering? No, they are afraid of competition. Because in 2026, they are launching their own competitor, and they don't want you to have a choice. Enter the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. It looks like crypto. It moves fast like crypto, but it is the exact opposite of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is freedom money. CBDC is slave money. With a CBDC, the government sees every coffee you buy, every donation you make. And in 2026, when the debt crisis hits, they will introduce programmable money. Imagine money that has an expiration date. Spend this stimulus check within 30 days, or it disappears. Imagine money that restricts what you can buy. You have reached your carbon limit for the month. You cannot buy meat. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It is a feature currently being tested in pilot programs around the world. This is the ultimate black swan. The government offers you a choice. Option A, keep your illegal Bitcoin, which you cannot spend, cannot sell, and might send you to jail. Option B, convert your Bitcoin to Fedcoin at a fair fixed rate and join the new system. Most people, 99% of people, will choose convenience over freedom. They will choose option B. And in that moment, the Bitcoin revolution ends. Not with a bang, but with a terms of service update. There is an old joke in cryptography. What is the easiest way to break 256-bit encryption? You don't need a quantum computer. You just need a $5 wrench. You hit the owner until he tells you the password. In 2026, if the state decides Bitcoin is a threat to national security, the wrench becomes the law. They will track your on-chain activity. They will know you have it, and they will come for it. We have built a glass house and called it a fortress. The blockchain is a public ledger. It is the perfect tool for a surveillance state if they turn it against us. So, is there any hope? Is there a way to survive the debt bomb, the quantum attack, and the regulatory purge? Yes, there is a path. But it requires you to stop thinking like a speculator and start thinking like a survivor. There is a creature that can survive a nuclear bomb. It can survive without a head for weeks. It adapts to every poison we invent. Bitcoin is the cockroach of finance. We talked about the debt bomb, the quantum hack, the government ban, but we forgot one variable. The most important one. You. You cannot kill an idea. You can ban the exchanges. You can shut down the miners. But as long as 2 people in the world have a computer, or even a ham radio, the network lives. Bitcoin is not a company. It has no CEO to arrest. It has no server to bomb. If the internet goes down, we use radio waves. If the quantum computers attack, we soft fork to quantum-resistant encryption, like Lamport signatures. If the price goes to zero, the true believers will buy every single coin left. That is the definition of anti-fragile. The more you attack it, the stronger it gets. The crisis doesn't kill Bitcoin. The crisis validates Bitcoin. So, how do you survive 2026? Whether the price hits $150,000 or $0, you need a plan. Here are the 3 rules of survival. Rule number 1. If you don't hold the keys, it's not your coin. In a Black Swan event, the exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, will be the first to freeze, just like FTX, just like Mt. Gox. Get a hardware wallet. Learn to use it. Today, not tomorrow. Rule number 2. Privacy is security. If the government comes with the $5 wrench, you don't want to be the loudest person in the room. Stop bragging about your gains on Twitter. Run your own node. Don't reuse addresses. In 2026, anonymity will be your armor. Rule number 3. Don't bet the farm. The scenarios we discussed are low probability, but high impact. Keep some gold. Keep some cash. Keep some land. Bitcoin is your insurance policy against the system. But don't let the insurance policy become the only thing you own. At the beginning of this film, I asked, will Bitcoin hit $150,000 or $0? After looking at the debt, the tech, and the geopolitics, I realized that is the wrong question. The Black Swan of 2026 isn't that Bitcoin crashes. The Black Swan is that the dollar crashes to zero. When the fiat currency dies, you don't measure Bitcoin in dollars anymore. You measure it in bread, in land, in freedom. So, to answer your question, what happens if Bitcoin hits $150,000? It means the dollar has failed. And if Bitcoin hits $0, it means humanity has failed. The choice is yours. Are you betting on the system that is dying or the system that is being born? This documentary was a simulation of the worst-case scenarios. It's scary, I know. But fear is better than ignorance. If you want to dive deeper into the positive case, why Bitcoin might actually hit $1 million, I've prepared a separate report on the super cycle theory. But first, I want to hear from you. Which black swan scares you the most? The debt bomb, the quantum hacker, or the government ban? Vote in the comments below. I'll pin the most controversial answer. If you survived this 60-minute journey, you are already part of the 1%. Subscribe to stay ahead of the curve. I'm your name. This is channel name. Prepare for the worst. Hope for the best.